Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Monorail Memoirs. Today we've got a special episode and we're going to be talking about can you walk a RunDisney race? For everyone that's new, hi, I'm Cameron. I'm one of the two people that host this podcast. We talk about everything Disney related, mainly Walt Disney World, but also looking into RunDisney as we've signed up for Springtime Surprise in 2026. Without further ado then, can you walk a RunDisney race? Let me answer the question straight out the gate. The answer? Yes, you absolutely can. Many people do a run, walk, run strategy, meaning that some people will walk most, some, possibly even all of the course. In terms of what the culture is like, very walker friendly. There's plenty of people who will be walking alongside you. This is not the Boston Marathon, the New York Marathon, the Berlin Marathon. You will have people of all different running abilities and training levels coming into this event. The only requirement you have, there is one single requirement. You must maintain a 16 minutes per mile pace across the whole event. Now, for those who don't work in miles, I have it in kilometers here. That is 9 minutes, 56 seconds per kilometer. That's how fast you've got to move. What does this translate to then over, the Dopey weekend, for example, the half marathon time, then you have to be able to do it in 3 hours and 29 minutes. And for the marathon time, 6 hours and 59 minutes. Those are long times. If you think about the Dopey weekend, of course, you're doing the marathon after having done half marathon, 10K, 5K before it. So it's a little bit more strenuous, but it is absolutely doable to walk most of it. In terms of how is this measured? Well, it's measured based off your timing chip. Every single race bib, I suppose you could call them, has got a timing chip inside of it. What that means is that when you cross the start line, that is when the timer starts. But the 16 minutes per mile pace is not when your timer starts. It's when the last person who crosses the line, that's when the clock begins. So how does that work then? There's different corral groupings, i.e. different sections of people set off at different times. The group A is for the elite runners who've sent in proof of time and they'll be long gone. Group B and C is usually for people who are already entered Disney races beforehand or other races and they have proof of times that they can enter to start further ahead. And then the D, E, and sometimes F corrals, depending on the race. Those are for either people who haven't provided timing previous or are new to running full stop. When the last person from the last group crosses the line, that is when your timer for 16 minutes a mile starts. So to give some idea, when I did Dopey in January of 2024, January 2025, we've lost a year already. In January 2025, what happened was I was about 20 minutes early crossing the start line compared to the last person of the last corral. So that's a free 20 minutes. That's something to take into account then. This is monitored by something called the Balloon Ladies. You may hear stories about the Balloon Ladies. The Balloon Ladies are volunteers, usually always ladies, but it doesn't have to be. And they start at the very back of the very last corral. And what happens is they wander literally with balloons. Now, these people I've heard are lovely. I've heard people converse with them. They seem like fantastic individuals who volunteer, do this because they enjoy it. And there's people who do it year in, year out. If they pass you, what does that mean? If the Balloon Ladies pass you, it means that you are in danger of getting picked up by the van and taken to the finish line. Because the roads need to open at certain times, the theme parks need to open at certain times. They can't keep the course open indefinitely. Worthy to mention on the medal front, if you start a race, any RunDisney race, if you start the race, take one step over the start line, you will receive your medal. Meaning that if you are doing any of these Disney events and you do fall behind the 16 minute per mile pace, you'll be picked up by the Balloon Ladies, well, picked up by the people driving the van behind the Balloon Ladies, but you will still achieve your medal. So in terms of being safe then, 16 minute per mile is the deadline as you mentioned. I think to be safe, aiming for 15 minutes or better just gives you that little bit of a buffer, gives you time for a bathroom break on the way around, gives you time to stop and make sure you get the best of the consumables that they offer, which is everything from water and Gatorade to bananas to sports jelly beans. And I'm pretty sure I had a chocolate biscuit on my last one as well, which I really wasn't expecting at about mile 22. This also allows some stopping time. The problem, and I use inverted commas here, The problem with walking a Run Disney race is you won't get to do things like take photos with the characters on the way around. There's always sort of unique or rare characters you can do meets and greets with as you do a Run Disney race. In terms of getting the best photos of things like Spaceship Earth, like the Magic Kingdom, like any of these particular highlights within the Walt Disney World theme park, you won't be able to do those because you've got to keep moving if you're aiming at that lower speed bracket. There is on the Run Disney website something called the Jeff Galloway training program. Jeff Galloway is quite a famous US former Olympian, and he has created a run, walk, run program. The idea being that you will run for a set amount of time, walk for a set amount of time, and repeat. That all depends on what pace you want to achieve, but the idea is it is more sustainable than if you were to try and just go and run for 26.2 miles of a marathon. Worth pointing out, if you use something like a Garmin, like myself, or an Apple Watch, or other products are available, the GPS time that's on this is really useful, but Disney doesn't care about your GPS time. All they care about is starting that 16-minute per mile pace from when the last person crosses the start line in the last corral. For what it's worth, you won't be alone if you choose to walk. Thousands of people choose to walk most of this, as mentioned, or some of it at least. And because it's Disney, it's a very stress-free, it's a really encouraging vibe. The running community around Run Disney is really fun. And the fact of the matter is that you are surrounded by people who are going through the same experience that you are. So it's really encouraging to see that you are not alone in this. I will just finish with Disney races, Run Disney races are built to be accessible. They know that they are not only asking for people who do the Chicago Marathon, the Boston Marathon, the New York Marathon, etc. They want people who, as long as you put in the appropriate training, using the Run Disney plan or others that are available, you can absolutely walk it. If you've been afraid to sign up for Run Disney because you're not a runner, Disney is the best place to start with this. It is familiar, it is exciting, it's expensive, but it's familiar, it's exciting, and it allows people the opportunity to perhaps step into the running world in a way that they wouldn't have done otherwise. I want to thank you all for listening. If there's any questions, please let us know down in the comments, email us, etc. It's a pleasure as always doing these. Laura and I are running Springtime Surprise in springtime, shocker, but it's April 2026, and we hope you can join us along for that. But until then, please stand clear of the doors. Bye, everybody.